Why are my carrots deformed and how to fix it before it happens again? Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever pulled out a carrot out of the soil expecting something straight and perfect, and instead you get this odd looking forked root doing the splits? I've been there, and trust me, you're definitely not alone on this one. Carrot deformities are one of the most common problems home gardeners face. But here's what no one tells you: those twists, those stubs and legs are your garden's way of communicating with you through the roots. So today I'll show you why your carrots turned out deformed, what you can do to fix the problem before planting again, and how I personally turned my harvest from embarrassing to edible art. So stick around, because fixing this one issue could give you the best carrot crop yet. So let's talk about one important factor. It is your soil. And the soil is everything when it comes to planting carrots. Carrots are top root vegetables, which means that they need to dive deep into the soil. But if your soil is hard packed, if it's filled with clay, or if it's littered with rocks and debris, the carrot root hits a lot of obstacles here. And instead of pushing through, it forks, it twists, and it stubs itself. Now, my very first carrot bed was untouched backyard soil. There was no compost, there was absolutely no prep. I pulled out what looked like mutant baby legs, and that moment really taught me to respect my soil. So here are 3 fixes. Fix number 1 is to use loose sandy loam, which is a mix of fine soil, compost, and sand. And number 2 is to avoid using too much manure before you plant, because fresh manure can actually cause splitting. And number 3, always sift your planting area with your hands or with a fork in order to remove any sort of clumps. Rocks as well, these need to be completely removed, as well as weeds if you're recycling old soil. Also, let's talk about one thing that causes the carrot to become like this, which is overcrowding. And here's a mistake that I made way too many times: not thinning out my seedlings. And when carrots are too close together, their roots start battling for space underground. They collide, they twist around each other, and none of them have enough room to grow straight. And I used to think thinning was wasteful. Like, why waste a lot of energy trying to thin out small little seedlings? Why pull out healthy little sprouts and get rid of them? But crowded carrots don't grow well, trust me. So here's 3 fixes. So once the seedlings are about 2 to 3 centimeters tall, go ahead and thin them out so there's at least 5 to 8 centimeters between each plant. And use small scissors or gently pull the weakest seedlings. And I know you're going to feel bad, but this has to be done. And water lightly after thinning to really help remaining roots settle in. Skipping this step can cost you your whole harvest. So think fewer but better. Quality really matters here. Also, watch your fertilizer. It's really easy to think that more fertilizer will result in more growth, right? Well, not always, because too much nitrogen can lead to big, lush green tops, but at the expense of the root, which is the main thing you're trying to grow. The plant puts energy into the leaves instead of the carrot below. And worst situation is it can even trigger split or hairy roots, that kind that looks like scraggly beards. And the fix right here is to use a low nitrogen, high phosphorus fertilizer. Also, compost works really good, but you need to let it break down well first. You can also go ahead and add wood ash or even bone meal. Now, this is optional, not everyone's going to use that, and I completely understand. So you can use wood ash, bone meal for natural potassium and phosphorus. And you can also go ahead and do what I do. I mix a small handful of sifted wood ash into the soil a week before planting, and it really helps to boost root strength without overwhelming the plant. Now, with that being said, let's share some important strategies for perfect carrots. And these are great strategies that I use time and time again for perfect carrot prep routine. And this has changed the game for me. So it involves 5 steps. And the last step is optional, but trust me, it will make a big difference for you, especially when you are planting right in the ground rather than in a container plant. Step number 1 is soil prep. So dig deep. Carrots, they need at least 20 to 30 centimeters of loose soil. Raised beds and containers, these are ideal for planting carrots if your ground is really compacted. Also, rock removal. So this is especially applies if you're planting right into the ground rather than in a container or in a raised bed. You can use a sieve or a rake to remove all hard particles. Even sometimes I find that when you buy the compost and the soil ready to made, packaged and stuff, it can still have some rocks in there, especially if you got it on sale. It can have some crumbs, some lumps as well. So even small pebbles, these can redirect root growth and it can really affect. You need the soil to be as light as possible. Also, you need to use the or plant the right varieties because short carrots, and by short I mean a variety called Paris Market, these are great for shallow soil. If your garden isn't perfect here, you can start with round or stubby varieties. Also, proper watering is important. So water consistently, but never too wet, never too dry. Just try to opt for the balance here. Uneven watering can cause cracks or even split roots. And optional step number 5 is to mulch it. So once the seedlings are up and ready, I add a light mulch of straw or grass to help retain moisture and suppress any weed growth as well. If you're planting in a container, you can be able to do it a bit differently because you are more in control of the compost, in control of the soil as well. So I now grow half of my carrots in a deep plastic storage bins with holes at the bottom because this will really make sure that there are 0 deformities and maximum harvest done, and I'm in control of the actual soil. There's no weed growth or anything in there as well. So why do carrots become deformed? It's almost always soil, spacing, and fertilizer. Once you fix those 3 things, you're well on your way to crisp, sweet, picture-perfect carrots. And let's be real, even the weird ones taste great in soup. But why now? You should be able to get in control of the situation with the right steps, with the right strategies. But now that you know what causes it, you can stop the problem before it starts. So comment below, what is the funniest looking carrot you've ever grown? You can also go ahead and download my free carrot growing checklist linked in the description box below to get the tips in a printable format and easily accessible format. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Next week, I'm going to be sharing with you how to grow rainbow carrots in containers step by step. You don't want to miss out. Take care and have a great, amazing day. All the best.